Now, again, we're back to this whole story about looking at the root causes and trying to understand how we get better success. Well, the first way we get better success is to ask the question, are the meibomian glands functional? Because if they are not functional and we don't treat them, we'll never have success. And originally, it required physical expression. So the only way at the present time we can tell whether a meibomian gland, or anyone can tell if a meibomian gland is functional, is to see if it can secrete. And in order to see if it secretes, we used to place our thumb and determine, do we have secretion when we apply pressure? And this would be optimal. This would be rather copious secretion. And I would define copious secretion as that volume that is expressed from a gland with a standardized amount of pressure, so that the two adjacent glands yielding would touch each other. So the base of that secretion would be about 1 millimeter. So that would be very copious. But hand expression is very, very, very difficult to quantify. As a result, starting in 2005, we embarked on a program to understand how much force was needed on a gland. And we found out that we needed about 1 gram per square millimeter of force to really get a gland to secrete in the same manner that it would if there were a forced blink. So if we shut our eyes and squeeze just a little bit, that's about 1 gram per square millimeter, or 0.3 psi. And we developed this device which applies a standardized pressure, and you apply this right underneath the eyelashes, just as that thumb is. And there it is being applied and coming up, and you hold that on for 5 seconds, 10 seconds. And then the goal of that is to see how many glands are secreting. And what we very quickly understood was a statement by Kuhn, who was one of my favorites, that he came up with the words new paradigm. The structure of scientific revolutions is that in the absence of a metric and an objective method of evaluation, both fact gathering and development are really very severely impeded. So unless you have a standard method of doing something, unless you have a standard method of communicating it to others, it's very, very, very difficult to make progress. Now, how does the expression of meibomian glands and the number of glands that are functional correlate with anything? So if you take a control group of 24 people, on a speed questionnaire, they will have no symptoms. And they will have between 10 and 12 glands on the lower lid, which yield liquid secretion. If you go to the opposite end of the spectrum, with individuals who have severe symptoms with a speed score of 10 or greater, they will have about 4 glands open. So this may be the best single correlate between symptoms and a single sign. And that one phenomenon, that one test, was the test that was used to act as the endpoint in the FDA studies of lip of flow, that we had the ability to open glands. And I showed you how it could be used on the lower lid, and it can also be used on the upper lid. And if you look very carefully, you'll see moderate to copious amounts of secretion coming out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 glands in the upper lid.